Sitting.
You good? You adjusting there?
I'm like, I don't know why I keep trying to adjust my camera so I'm centered, but I keep ending up more on the right.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's confusing me.
My
What's up,
fault.
everybody? How we doing?
What's up,
Another
Arsenal?
Friday.
Another Friday. No April Fool's joke for you.
So like we have something important to tell you guys, and I was like, they're going to think it's an April Fool's joke, and it's not an April Fool's joke, but like I was like, there's no way that they're not going to think that it's an April Fool's joke.
I actually didn't think of that. Right before we got on, I was like scrolling on Twitter, and the first thing I saw was like Cam Hayward thanking the Steelers. I was like, what's going on? And then I
I
was like,
know.
it's April 1st. He's not actually been released.
Yeah. So we're gonna preface this, but this is not an April Fool's joke. All right. But today is Vincent's last day as the general manager of Arsenal Strength.
Like you said, not an April Fool's joke. We promise I'm not going anywhere, but I am relinquishing some responsibilities for sure.
He is, and we're very excited about it. I mean, this is something Vincent and I have been talking about for a little while. As Beyond RX and the programming has picked up. Vincent's been by my side at Arsenal for, 5 years now, probably close to.
Yeah, 5+.
Right. And, with Beyond RX, that's something that, we are 50-50 partners in. And we said, where does the attention for Vincent really need to lie? And that's with programming. So basically, if anybody has any complaints or issues, they can just come see me about it and I'll take care of it. And Vincent will still be around the gym, still coaching his classes, still working out, still doing everything with clients, doing everything that Vincent does, just no longer dealing with any of the day-to-day logistical operations of Arsenal.
Yeah. So other than that, nothing's changing. If you have general questions about a workout or things in general, come to me. You don't have to like ignore me and treat me like I'm an outsider. Nothing's changing. Basically, just if you want to complain about something, tell Brooks instead of telling me. That's about the biggest change.
The first time that we talked about Vincent coming on as a GM was 4 a.m. in a Vegas hotel room for my bachelor party.
True story. Also not an April Fool's joke. Yeah.
Also not an April Fool's joke. Very true story. And that turned into a wonderful relationship, and we're super excited for what the future holds, not only for the gym, but for Beyond RX as well. So like Vincent, again, we told the staff yesterday, and I couldn't be more thankful for everything that you've done for the gym in your role as GM. And again, nothing's changing whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm still going to be around, but will always be forever grateful for your contributions as GM.
Yeah, for sure. And, playing off of that, Arsenal's been such a big part of my life for the past like 6+ years, but, last 5+ years. So it was definitely a tough decision to, pass over some of the responsibilities. But again, I'm not going anywhere outside of, you'll mostly all be doing your goal reviews with Brooks and, complaining to Brooks and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be working out there every day. I'll still be coaching all my classes. You'll still see me training all my clients. So, I'm not going anywhere. And, the future is going to look, almost exactly how it was beforehand. Just gives me some more time to focus in on programming and making sure that that's growing as we want it to.
We might have to pass on complaints and suggestions, responsibilities to Allie. She's nicer than me. She's nicer than me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got going on this week? So one of the questions that we got from members, why do we do retests, right? And more importantly than like why do we do retests, but how do we gauge progress from week to week, month to month? So let's start with the retest, and I'm sure the conversation will take us somewhere interesting.
Yeah, and I think it it was a perfectly asked question this week because we've seen 2 strength retests this week in the 1 rep max snatch and today the 1 rep max front squat. And we also saw 2 benchmark retests in the Chief on Wednesday and Fran today. So pretty heavy focus on retests this week, which obviously why it was such a great question. So those of you who you do Fran in your final on ramp. So if you do our standard 4-session on ramp, Fran is your final workout before you get into classes. And it's a great test because it combines, a higher skill gymnastic movement, which literally I think one person in the history of 4-session on ramps has done 21-15-9 pull-ups in their on ramp. Shout out to Alex Weilersbacher. You're probably not listening to this ever, but you're the only person that ever did 45 pull-ups in their on-ramp. So it's a great opportunity to go review scaling for that. Thrusters are a pretty challenging movement that spikes the heart rate. And, we want to treat this like a sprint style workout. So it, hits on scaling, it hits on intensity, it hits on, teaching you to log scores appropriately and, with detailed notes, teaches you some strategy. So benchmarks are just a great way to incorporate why we come to the gym on a daily basis.
And I love benchmarks too, because there's so many different ways to gauge progress, right? Obviously, like the low-hanging fruit is, we can get faster, right? We can do the same exact variation that we did. That's one of the reasons why we do Fran on the 4th session of our on-ramp, because we know it's going to come up at least once a year, right? And we want everybody to have the opportunity to be able to retest that year after year and see how far their fitness has gone, right? Being able to, get faster at Fran or any benchmark is one way to test your progress, right? But you could also increase the weight on the thrusters, right?
Yeah.
And make progress there. You might have started on ramp and couldn't do any pull-ups, and you might do 2 pull-ups, right? The next time you do Fran, that's a huge win, right? You might do thrusters the first time and not be able to squat below parallel. Next time you do Fran, if you're squatting below parallel, even if you get a slower time on the workout, that's a win. That's a PR because you perform the workout much better than you did the first time around.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And I'm sure he wouldn't mind me using him as an example, but Coach Eric is a prime example of this. Eric started pretty much when I started at Arsenal, so 5+ years ago. I would imagine that he used an empty barbell and did some variation of jumping pull-ups the first time he did Fran. Progressed to today, this morning, Eric RX Fran for the very first time, which is freaking awesome. And with that, his time's probably not as fast as he's looking for, as we would really kind of want somebody to be shooting for. But he hit it. He RX'd it for the first time today, which is absolutely awesome. And, in his notes, it says something along the lines of, I probably should have gone faster on thrusters. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Josh Brown because according to Josh Brown, we retest so we know how much of a bad motherfucker we've become. And I got to say, I agree with the man.
That is true. JB's another really good example of testing this. JB probably was not hitting depth on front squats and doing ring rows, if I had to guess, his first attempt of Fran. And now, again, he's RX Fran probably for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. He would say he's got banged up shoulders and he's retired. So if he were to test it, that's probably something along the lines he'd give us. But yeah, retests are just, honestly, it's also just fun too, because every time I do Fran, not everyone might feel this way, but that 10 seconds is counting down and there's like those little butterflies, running through you. Like there's a little bit of nerves, like, whew, all right, it's time to go again. Which is, in my opinion, good for everybody. Those butterflies are a little bit of nervous angst, keeps us alive, and really tells us that we're doing things the right way.
It does, and when it comes to like gauging progress, it's one of those things that I don't think we necessarily give you guys enough opportunity day in and day out to see how far you've really come. Because we as coaches see it, but I think for a lot of you guys, it's kind of hard to see it yourselves unless we do these very obvious things like a retest, or we hop on an in-body, right, and actually show you physical numbers of either losing weight, gaining muscle, losing body fat percentage, like whatever it might be, right? So one of the things that we're working on right now is a system so that basically every workout that we have, you will be able to go in and see, okay, this is what I did 3 months ago, 4 months ago, right? And we'll have a few big testing pieces, but we want you guys to be able to see the progress that you're making every single week. Like that is our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, kind of circling back a little bit to the question, why do we, do benchmarks and retests? That it plays into why, something like sugar WOD and logging your scores, and then not only just logging your scores, but being specific on how you're logging your scores, right? Like a workout like Fran, if you just put your time 5:29 or whatever it is, and you don't put weight, you don't put scaling options, you don't put rep schemes that you tried to stick with in place, in 3 months from now, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass because you're like, oh, well, I think I used 75 for this, so it, like we said, you have sugar WOD at your advantage. The InBody is nice because it records for you the big three, right? Muscle mass, percent body fat, and weight. So it saves those things for you. But logging in sugar WOD and making those detailed notes is crucial for when we come into the benchmarks.
Yeah, and even looking past the weights you use, the scaling variation that you use as far as putting notes into sugar WOD, right? Even like what was your mindset like? Like how did you feel going into it, right? How did you feel coming out of it? Right. I mean, there's a lot of takeaways that you could have from that, and just the perspective change that you could have of a workout a year apart. But if those notes aren't there, you might not realize how great of a mindset shift you actually had.
Yeah, exactly. And, on top of all of that, factor in, mindset, mood, life, whatever life events are throwing at you. Well, let's say today you had a really shitty week at work. Um, you haven't been eating well, whatever is on your plate, and you do Fran 5 minutes, and then 3 months from now, you happen to do Fran in, 450, and all of a sudden you're like, that was only 10 seconds faster. Like, I'm happy with that, but it is what it is. But like, you factor in those life things have piled up even more, like new job, whatever that stress might be. All of a sudden, like, you had probably a very big improvement that, like, a benchmark allows us to insert some positivity back into that life.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, I started CrossFit summer of 2010, and the first workout I ever did was Fran. And this was a time in CrossFit when there was no on-ramps, right? You just went into the gym and they just basically said, here you go, have fun. Like, here's a member who's going to kind of show you what to do, right? And here might be a couple scaling variations. And I was in college. I was going to my sophomore year of college, right? And I was playing lacrosse and I was in good shape. I was relatively strong. And I was like, oh, a 95-pound front squat plus a 95-pound press, like whatever. That's not going to be an issue. The pull-ups might suck a little bit, but that's fine. That workout destroyed me, right? Like my first workout with Fran, and like they didn't put a time cap on. It took me 20 some minutes to get through, and they just like no one said anything, right? Like looking back on it, it's ridiculous. But like the mindset that I have now, going from like that to where I am today, or where I was 5 years ago, I mean, it's remarkable.
I was just about to say, at least your first workout was under 10 minutes. My first workout was 12 Days of Christmas, and I was about to flex on you a little bit that no one told me what I was getting into. But if Fran took you 20 minutes, you probably felt the same pain that I was feeling during the 12 days of Christmas.
We were counting, and I remember I never spoke to this. I never saw this member at the gym again, but I think that he was so pissed that I was doing it RX, and like nobody told me any better. And it was taking me so long, and they just let me finish that. Like class ran out. He didn't even get to do it. Like, I was like, if somebody would have said something, I would have done it differently. But
yeah, I've been obviously, Lizzie, Shannon, and Eric do a lot of our on ramps, but one of my favorite things was when we get to that fourth workout and someone's like, "Oh, I can do pull-ups." I'm like, all right, go ahead, do some pull-ups in Fran, but here's what we're gonna go to when they start to fail on you, and they kind of look at you with like I can do pull-ups, and then like they do like 7 and they're like, oh yeah, well, what was the other thing I could do? And then we move through.
Something about it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Yeah. So again, retesting is just our way of gauging progress, right? But I think just to sum it up, it's important to look past just, did I do this RX or scale? Did I get faster? Did I get slower? Right? Taking into consideration all of the other things, right? Did you do more weight? Did you do the workout better? Like, were you moving better? Did you feel better after the workout, right? Like, I don't think we think about that. You could have the exact same time on Fran, and the first time you did it, you feel like an absolute mess. And the second time, you've recovered in a couple minutes and you're just like, oh yeah, like that wasn't a big deal, right? I mean, that's another huge win right there.
Yeah, for sure. And I love Fran, probably is my favorite workout. Just because I don't know, it's wild. But you can twist it and make it any way you want. I did Fran with 115 today and it sucked, but it's probably what I'm going to start doing for a little while because, I was slightly exposed with that heavier thruster weight in 22.3. So I probably should start doing some heavier thrusters again. Right. But now I know. And at some point in time, I'm going to test Fran 95 pounds, just regular RX. And I wouldn't be surprised if I PR Fran in the future because I've been putting in the extra work, working on these heavier thrusters. Vice versa. Yeah. I saw, a couple people, were playing around. I think it was Kelsey's notes today said like goal was to try to string together bigger sets of pull-ups. And I fell apart a little bit at the end. That's going to help her in the future. Her time might not have been faster today. I don't recall if it was a PR or not, but her intent was, I'm going to challenge myself with bigger sets of pull-ups. It probably backfired as far as a PR goes, but next time, if she decides I'm shooting for this PR, she's going to probably have a really nice range of this is where I need my pull-ups to be in order to avoid failure, avoid big rests, and so forth with that. So I think part of the reason I love it so much is because we can tweak certain things. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they go terrible, but at least we have feedback and then we can take that feedback and make sure that it's better the next time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So like I said, we're going to be giving everybody more opportunities to gauge progress, right? Maybe not necessarily in like the mindset of like, hey, this is a retest, right? But just week in, week out, here are things that you should notice of how far that you've come. And at any point, if anybody wants an in-body scan, like all you need to do is ask or email. Like those are always available to you guys. And we're more than happy to knock them out once a month with you.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I am, because Vincent's no longer the GM, but he's a nice guy. And I'm sure that if he's there not doing anything, he'll be more than happy to give you an in-body scan.
If you come to 6:15 a.m. class and you want an in-body before, just let me know and I'll knock it out.
You're a hell of a guy. All right, let's take a look at next week's programming. What do we got?
Yeah, so next week we are going to start off with some Bulgarian split squats. So something that we don't see very often, something that if you are slightly unhappy with how your front squat retest went today, This is often viewed as like an accessory exercise, but this is like one of the best exercises you can do to strengthen that lower body. Plump up the peach, and hopefully hit some PRs the next time we see some front squats. So we're going to be doing it throughout the rest of the month. Coaches will go over it in detail. It's sort of like a hybrid variation of a squat and a lunge if you've never done it or seen it before. So we have.
Sorry, just a quick note on that too, right? If you tested your front rep, 1 rep max front squat and you are disappointed with that, remember that we have build, right, and burn, so that you guys can bias your training towards whatever your goal might be. So if you're disappointed with your front squat performance, right, come to lower body build, right? Come there for 4-6 weeks in a row, right? And you'll be amazed at the strength gains that you get just by taking 1 day of training a week and biasing it towards lower body strength or upper body strength. Or even if you want to get better at, if you want to improve your endurance, right, and get better cardio, just go into 1 burn workout a week, which we probably should do, seeing as we signed up for this 20K trail run with John that none of us are training for.
Hey, I haven't signed up yet officially, so I can
so I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Other than that, Tuesday, nice conditioning day, lots of burpees, lots of rowing. So you really want to double up your conditioning. Monday burn, Tuesday class, Wednesday burn. You will get lots of conditioning in. Carrying on with our floor press, we'll see that, as well as another benchmark workout. So this will only be the second time. So the first ever retest of Muscle Beach. It's a fun workout because it sees movements that we don't normally see. So it's just push-ups, weighted sit-ups, and chin-ups. So actually having that underhand supinated grip rather than our traditional overhand pull-ups. See kind of just some GPP work, a little bit of snatch, a little bit of wall walks and deadlifts. Typical partner workout that's going to combine conditioning, some weightlifting, and gymnastics. And then wrapping up the week, we'll see, again, just a little bit more of a conditioning focus. So not as many retests as we had this week, but, we see our first retest ever of Muscle Beach, carrying on with the floor press strength, starting out split squat strength. So going to be a nice solid week of training again.
Yeah. Hopefully the weather starts to turn. We get rid of these random snowstorms in the middle after a 70-degree day.
Yeah, that would be very, very nice if the garage door could just stay open permanently.
I would like that. So that's about it, guys. If you need anything from us, you know where to find us. If you have a question that you would like to have us answer next week, just please let us know, or let one of the coaches know so they can pass it on to us. Always happy to answer any questions that you guys have. They're always really great ones. Make sure you get into MindBody. Sign up for your classes. Make sure you're logging results in SugarWOD. And if anybody needs an in-body scan, just shoot me an email, brooks@arsenalstrength.com, and we will get you guys on the machine. Last thing, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel, please give us a favor and go ahead and do that so you guys don't miss anything when we come on here.
Perfect. Otherwise, congrats to everybody. It's already PR'd Fran today. I know I saw a lot in SugarWOD. Get in the gym this afternoon if you haven't got after Fran yet, and enjoy the weekend.
Excellent. Thanks, man. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.